the new Suez Canal waterway continues. Preparations are underway for the August 6th inauguration ceremony. The head of the Suez Canal Authority, Admiral Mohammed, said that dredging work is to be concluded in 2 days' time. For his part, the head of the Army's Engineering Corps, General Kamil al-Wazir, said that the new projects were awarded and will be implemented right after the project's inauguration, including in the new Rafah city in the east of Port Said, as well as in the Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed city. An explosive-laden vehicle was seized by the Army on Tuesday, according to a statement released by one of its checkpoints in Sinai has seized the vehicle as 2 terrorists were attempting to flee the area. A list with the names of terrorists due to receive funding was found in their possession, as well as instructions for future attacks. The Army asserted that its operations continue with the aim of eliminating terrorist hideouts and preventing terrorists from infiltrating from the north of Sinai to the middle and the south of the peninsula. Egypt's highest Muslim institution, Al-Azhar, condemned Israel's flagrant transgression on the Al-Aqsa Holy Mosque. Israeli occupation troops broke into Al-Aqsa Mosque compound on Sunday, attacking men, women and children, preventing them from entering. In its statement, Al-Azhar said attacking worshippers in the mosque is a breach of the sanctity of places of worship, an act that goes against the teachings of all heavenly religions. The statement described Israel's continuation of its aggressive policies as only serving to escalate tension and inflaming Muslim anger around the world. Al-Azhar called for swift action by the international community to protect Al-Aqsa and all religious sites in Jerusalem. Finally, Syrian troops and Kurdish fighters ousted Daesh terrorists from Hasakeh on Tuesday, more than a month after they launched an assault on the northeastern city. Government troops and Kurdish forces who share control of the city battling since June 25th to push Daesh forces out of the city, which is the capital of Hasakeh province. The Agence France Presse quoted the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights as saying that Daesh was expelled by the army from Zuhur, the last district in Hasakeh, and its fighters have been pushed to the southern outskirts of the city. It said at least 287 Daesh terrorists, among them 26 minors, have been killed in the fight, as well as strikes by the US-led coalition outside the city. 120 soldiers and pro-regime militiamen, as well as several dozen Kurdish forces, were also killed. That's all for this hour's top stories. I'll be updating you on top of the hour. I'm Ayman Salah. Stay with Now TV International. To the Point is up in a short while.
الو انت يا بنت يا سالي.
بنت امت بنتك، انت مين ياض؟
انا معجب.
ايه انت بتعاكسني بجد والنبي؟
يا بنت عاكس مين؟ انت اخرك
ايه؟
لو في أرقام بتعكسك وقرفان منها، مع خدمة ترو كولر هتعرف أصحاب كل الأرقام في مصر أو بره مصر. اتصل من أي محمول على 1461 أو ابعت الرقم في رسالة على 9407 وفي ثواني هيكون عندك اسم صاحب الرقم. اتصل من أي محمول على 1461 أو ابعت الرقم في رسالة على 9407 وفي ثواني هيكون عندك اسم صاحب الرقم.
لو عايز تعرف صفات برجك اتصل من أي محمول على 1472 أو من أي خط أرضي على 0900 91 43 عشان تتواصل مع خبيرة الأبراج عبير فؤاد وتقدر تعرف برجك اليوم، صفات برجك هذا العام، وتوافق برجك مع الأبراج التانية. ولو عايز تعرف تفاصيل أكتر تقدر تتواصل مباشرة مع الخبيرة عبير فؤاد كل يوم من الحد للخميس من الساعة 10 صباحا وحتى الساعة 3 عصرا، والجمعة والسبت من 10 صباحا حتى 1 ظهرا. اتصل الآن واعرف أسرار برجك مع الخبيرة عبير فؤاد.
Good evening and welcome to a new edition of To The Point. This evening we'll be discussing quite a critical issue within this region, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is the third, considered by Muslims worldwide, the third holiest shrine, so to speak. Al-Aqsa has come under attack by Israeli forces. Rubber bullets, grenades, tear gas, you name it. They used it on worshippers during the mosque, within the mosque. This takes us back to quite a similar incident which took place in '94, where a number of Muslim worshippers were killed in Al Ibrahimi Mosque in Hebron, or as we like to call it, Al Khalil. This led to the division of that area 2 years later between the Palestinians, or the Muslims, and the Israelis. Is there a fear that they're instigating a repeat scenario? Will be under discussion this evening with the panel. With us this evening is His Excellency Ambassador Hazem ابوشنب, who is a leading member at the Fath Movement Revolutionary Council. With us also this evening is Dr. محمد الوهاب, who is a professor of political history at Ain Shams University here in Cairo, and Sharjah University in the United Arab Emirates. A pleasure to have you both with us.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen.
Thank you.
What we are witnessing in Al-Aqsa, could this be a repetition of the Ibrahimi Mosque scenario? Or?
From my point of view, really it is not happening in Ibrahimi Mosque. It dates back to early history of the beginning of the Jewish immigration to Palestine. It started in 1929 when they tried to put their hands upon the holy shrine of the Aqsa Mosque. It was the first confrontation between the Arabs and Jews under the British mandate during that time.
Yes.
So, it is not the first time for them to do that. But this time, it takes ritual, or what we can call it, it become obvious that they behaved badly and terribly against the Palestinian people. Although they always claim they try to protect them, leaving them to live under their protection. But what is happening right now showing us the opposite. So, from my point of view, it is not secure for the Palestinian people to live under their authority or under their protection. And the problem also, the international community give deaf ear to what's happening in the occupied land. Point of view.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What's happening is, let's say, a new episode of the same series of what did start before 1948, when the Israeli gangs, the Jewish gangs, started to act brutally with their aggressions, armed aggressions against the civilians, the Palestinian civilians, to kick them out and to try to establish their own state over the land of Palestine, historic Palestine. What's happening nowadays in Al-Quds, in Al-Aqsa, in Jerusalem, relying on a strategy that the Israelis did declare frankly and clearly that they want to share Al-Aqsa Mosque between the Muslims and the Jews.
Like they did the Ibrahimi Mosque. That's why I was referring to something which took place just a few years ago.
Yes, I agree with you. So we are not trying to analyze. They declare that frankly.
Exactly.
So they are doing that. And they are practicing now that on the floor. Let me give you some information, if you are, which is that since few months, the Israeli settlers, the Jewish Israeli fundamentalist settlers, are invading the Al-Aqsa Mosque on daily basis, starting from 9 a.m. in the morning, Palestine timing. They crush into Al-Aqsa Mosque every day, and they cause confusion, fuss, and clashes with the Palestinians under the security of the Israeli army and the Israeli police and every security organization working actively in Israel. So we are not analyzing, again, this is the truth that the Israeli, the fundamentalist settlers, Jewish settlers in Israel are doing this every day in Al-Quds, in Jerusalem, in Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, in Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is very holy place for the Muslims all over the world. Not only that, I'm sorry to say that, but it's not only that. They are doing this also, the same, against the Christian sites inside Al-Quds, inside Jerusalem. And the Palestinians, I don't differentiate between the Muslims and the Christians. The Palestinians as a whole, for me as a Muslim, we are defending, we are practicing that on the floor, on the ground in Jerusalem. The guards of the churches are Muslim Palestinians. We are working, we are the issue as it is human rights. Every person has its own right to like the whatever religion that he wants. So they are following the Christianity, some are following the Islam, and we, the Palestinians, are defending all the sites, whatever it was, regarding Islam, Christianity, and even the Jews. But the Israelis are saying that they want to defend their shrines by their own. So we are not refusing, but we say that we are ready to do that regarding our ability, as we are the real owners of this holy land in front of God, in front of people, in front of history, in front of religion, in front of everyone. We are responsible for that. But the Israelis, again, as a final statement, I would say that the Israeli fundamentalist Jewish settlers are acting brutally, aggressively against all the holy sites inside Al-Quds, Jerusalem.
If you don't mind,
Go ahead.
I think it's a situation, as Mr. Ambassador just mentioned, that's true. But what we should put our hands upon the circumstances which led the Jewish settlers to do that. Right now, who is ruling Israel? Netanyahu.
Sahih.
And he tried, to show that he is able to do whatever he would like to do, especially for the rightist. Political game. It is a political game.
Yes, it's a campaigning.
It is a campaigning. And, he went for the fourth time. It is not the first time for him to win the election. That's his fourth term.
Yes.
And he tried to show, although he doesn't have a big majority in the Knesset, but he tried to prove that he is more stronger than his previous people or his predecessor. He tried to show that to the world, although he is facing a lot of problems with international community. But what he needs really to prove to the Jewish people that he is much or more stronger than the rest of their own rulers. That's from my point of view.
History tends to repeat itself. Why is it that we don't learn? I mean, their tactics, unfortunately or fortunately, are not changing. They haven't really changed. Yet we go through the same scenario, but unfortunately, we're the ones that lose. Because they seem to be, as we talk, they gain more land and we lose, and their strategy is no different, really.
I tell you something, from a history point of view, if we try to show that the beginning of the British Mandate, it happened in 1917, or starting in 1920. The Balfour Declaration, it came in 1917. That's okay during the war, but the British become responsible for the mandate in 1920. What about the Arab countries during that time? Each one really was give all of its attention to its internal affairs. Egypt during that time was fighting with the British in order to get its independence. What about the rest of the Arab countries? Iraq the same. Syria the same, was facing a problem with the French, Syria and Lebanon. And also the Arabian Peninsula, the same thing. They have their own troubles and they were far away from that cause during that time. So as you just mentioned, the history sometimes repeats itself. Each one of the Arab countries right now, really, it has its own problem. So the Jewish took this advantage, and they are doing whatever they would like to do because they got the advantage right now. You know, what? Put your hands upon.
Is it that each Arab country or most Arab countries have their own set of problems, so they're free to do whatever they want? Or I know that people say we don't like the conspiracy theory, but let me be the conspiracy theory initiator here and say that, well, maybe they created this chaos we're living in right now so that they can do whatever they want, and the time has come for them to carry out their Jerusalem plan while we're all busy with the alleged Muslim movements we have all over the place. Everybody is busy in his own mess, and they're out there grabbing more land. Only this time the situation will be even graver.
Is this question for me or for His
It's
Excellency?
for both of you.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador.
Can I?
Okay.
Please. Do you think that you are trying to create something which is not existed? Do you think that the people would claim that you are taking them far away from the reality? I don't believe so. I believe that after 4 years and a half since the starting of what the Western call the Arab Spring,
and we call Arab hurricane,
the Arabs are living on the edges of the hurricanes, on the lavas, in fact.
Yes.
So what's happening is that, yes, the result of all of that shows the goals of the starting of such kind of chaos that they created in the region. This is number one. Number two, let's get back again to the very near history when the American National Security Advisor of the United States said, frankly, also in the year 2002 or 3, something like that, and she said that we are going to create chaos in
constructive
the region.
chaos.
Yes.
Condoleezza Rice.
Condoleezza Rice, yes. And she said that frankly and in front of the media for everyone and in front of also the scholars. And she said that we are going to do that, and she did that, in fact. Even after she left its position, the administration, the institutions continued their plan, and it's continuing. Now the question is that it's for you, for His Excellency, and for the audience who are watching, that I believe that they have much better and bigger brains than everyone do. Was that only by chance? No. Do you think that they
all this by chance?
No. Is that did start in the region after the declaration of that high-rank official? Was it away from the strategic plans with the Israelis? No. I don't believe so. So if we are asked to give answers, I'm saying frankly, no. They were on the same table and they shared the same plans. Either it were geographic plans or even political plans. Let me say something, maybe it would be useful to the discussion which is happening, and I'm very thankful for that. That an Israeli official, a high-rank Israeli official, did say 3 weeks ago, he said that there is no Syria anymore.
That's right. They said that. Yes.
Okay, he said that sentence, it was included in a big speech.
Yes.
But it was this sentence that I
Because
witnessed.
they know the extent of the damage they contributed to.
If I'm allowed,
okay.
So tell me now, what was the behind the tables? How was the discussion between the Americans and the Israelis when they were talking? Everyone was talking about the Iranian nuclear bomb,
That's
which
right.
is I don't see anything like
Nothing.
that. How was the negotiations happening between the other two close friends? It was about Golan, the Golan Heights, which was occupied like Palestine in 1967, and they said on the table with the Americans, we want an international recognition of the Israeli authority over the Golan Heights. So your conspiracy that you are claiming, you are afraid that you would be accused by that or pointed to like that. It's happening, my dear. So this is the reality that they are doing that. Number two, let's go to some other place, a closer place, but a little bit further for us, which is let's talk about the NATO. Are they meeting today? Who's the NATO? Who called them to
NATO for you.
Who called them to come? What was the demand of that meeting?
So NATO is not for you?
So what's the conclusion? The conclusion is a buffer zone between Syria and Turkey, which means on the ground that there is no Syria. Again, the Israeli official did say that there is no Syria at all.
Anymore.
Now, let's go for something. I have to be very frank with myself. And I'm sorry to say that 4 years before, I said through the media that some Arab countries will vanish from the geographic plan. I'm sorry to say that, but I said that. And it was a warning at that time. And I am very sorry that the officials didn't take that on important basis. But this is happening. Do you want more? It's not only Syria. Do you want more? We are talking about an Arab country in the Gulf.
That's right.
You want more? We are talking about a very close neighboring Arab country, very next to Egypt. Do you want more? So it's what's happening is that the changing of the geography of the region is happening. After that, I'm expecting a question from you. Please ask me, what does that reflect when you are talking about bombs over the Yarmouk refugees camp of the Palestinians in Syria? What is the result? Ask about that question and we will get an answer, please, from the doctor. Then I will shock you.
No, I am not going to answer this question. But I would like to say something, confirming what did you say right now. You know, during the Iraqi-Iranian war in 1980s, you know, I was studying during that time in London University. I have one of our professor. He told me something. Muhammad, yesterday we have a meeting. Iraq is going to be divided into three parts. And I said, how it comes? He said, the potential to be like that.
Yes, they created the ground.
You know, it happened, you know, in 1882. I remember that, and I always repeat that. You know, he told me that. Yesterday, we tried to draw a new map to Iraq. It has the potential to be divided into three parts.
Is it not divided, Excellency?
It is divided right now.
Into three?
Yeah, into three.
Maybe not officially like Sudan, but it is divided.
But it happened like that. So that's the beginning, you know. That's the beginning. You know, what happened, as you just mentioned, what about Syria right now? They tried to vanish or to put an end or to make no Syria at all. And do you know what did he say again? Why you are still insisting to keep the unity of the Arab countries? Do you see what happened in Europe after the First World War, after the Second World War, and what happened after the détente? Do you see? Everything has been changed. And why you are still insisting that all the Arab countries to be like that? You know, right now they have different type, new flags. They have the flags. Flags go up and down. Just the flags. He said, you see Czechoslovakia, what happened to Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, and he just mentioned all of this in front of me. He
in 1982?
Yes, he said, we are going, you know, Eastern Europe, you know, it has been changed. He is talking about First World War and Second World War, and it happened, you know, after that. You know what happened? That's what they are, that's a long-run plan to divide the Arab countries and make it, you know, as, you know, like Israel. That's what they are doing right now. You know, they started with Iraq, Syria, and they are moving one by one. What about Lebanon right now? No president in Lebanon. No president in Lebanon. Who's ruling Lebanon right now? I'm not saying anything. What about the Palestinian problem? Nothing, you know.
3 countries.
3, yes. One under, I don't like to say anything, you know. It is not my affairs to say anything about the Palestinian problem. But, and they tried to move.
Why do you say it's not your thing to say? I mean, taking into account that it is clearly evident that Hamas, since its surfacing,
came to power,
or since it surfaced out loud and came to power, the Palestinian question has been moving backwards rather than forwards.
That's right.
Now that we've discovered loud and clear, or it has been announced clearly that Hamas is the military wing of the Brotherhood which is being utilized by the West to carry out the 4th generation war, which is to divide and conquer this part of the world. How can we trust that Hamas is really going to be working towards the Palestinian question? It's working against the Palestinian question. Why are we beating around the bush? Why are we not honest with ourselves that we are giving room for certain militant alleged Islamic factions within this region to help the West in carrying out its plan to destroy this region? Why are we not saying this?
Whomever is not talking about that, I'm talking, and I'm ready to continue talking about that. The question is not only in Hamas. We must all understand.
We have a different Hamas, a different naming to Hamas in different
countries.
In different countries.
That's Arabic, we call it Hamamis. So it's different Hamas. But it's all called Muslim Brotherhood. With my, I don't agree.
The origins stemmed from the Muslim Brotherhood.
Basically, what's happening,
which was created by the West, by the way.
That's right. In 1928.
Exactly.
In 1928.
They are existed in the Arab region.
It's created in our part of the world to destroy us.
So we are talking. Let's now talk.
Who created Al-Qaeda?
Let's talk politics now, if you don't mind. Politics, what does that mean? Well, it means that there are different schedules, agendas in the region now started to be surfaced again, which is the patriots, who are, some of them are ruling some Arab country. The other one, which is belonging to the Brotherhood. You call them Muslim Brotherhood. I don't agree on that, but they are.
They're called the Terrorist Brotherhood. We call them in Egypt the Terrorist Brotherhood.
And the third one, which is the Western agenda, which is crawling and it's running on the ground. But who is their ally? The Islamists are accusing the patriots that they are the allies of the Americans. But during the last 4 years, we all discovered, and they declared by themselves, that they are the real allies of the Americans. And they are trying to tell us, we, the normal people, that they are not in good relations with the Americans, that they let them down, and they are not rolling they are not rolling the countries that they came over. While the reality on the ground, that they are still supporting them, and they are very active in different places, including Egypt, which sometimes you call them, what are you calling them in Sinai and whatever? What are the names of the groups?
Terrorists.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm talking about Ajnadul Ard, whatever.
They have their own names.
They are
they're all terrorist movements.
They are all coming from the
gangs.
They are
gangsters.
They are gangs.
They are all the babies of the Brotherhood. This is the reality. So what does that mean? What's the question, doctor, here? The question is that, that this is Egypt and this is Palestine. And we talked about that before, that Palestine, which is occupied by, which is the very close neighbor to Egypt, is divided into 3. One of these parts, by the general Igura Island, is saying that we want to give some part of this Palestine, which is called the Gaza Strip, with some part of Egypt in Sinai to be a state. The media talked about it that it is Palestine. No, it's not Palestine. It's an Islamic state to the Brotherhood.
Which is the deal that Muhammad Morsi was...
and we talked about that in your program.
He signed that deal.
Yes, and they
excellent. And we talked
and he started implementation, actually.
And we talked about that in your program.
Yes, we did.
And we said that, and it was declared. Now what's happening? Again, I'm very weak in geography. Please check your plans. Open your your books and look to the plans. What does it mean, Sheikh Zuwaid, and that region? I don't know. You go and check.
It's the same thing?
No. It's the same
Agenda.
of what's happening in Ramadi in Iraq. Just look at what's happening there and go directly to what's happening in Sinai. You will discover that it is a matter of competition regarding the time. Who would win of controlling this part of the area and to make the imitation of what's happening in Iraq.
It's the same agenda.
So I don't want to hear someone saying that let's give some party a chance to stay alive, living among us, and to keep its political agenda working. No, it's not. Again,
You don't want to hear the human rights organizations.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
this is the human rights, what we are talking about. Me as an Arab citizen, me as Egyptian, me as Palestinian, me as any Arab nationality, nationalist, Palestinian, Egyptian, Arab person. I say that this is our map. Egypt is Egypt, and I don't want to have any part of Egypt and to give it to any other country, including Palestine. This is the map of Palestine.
So you're not for the Hamas agenda?
I will never accept that, and I don't agree on that. And this is Palestine that me, my father, my daughter, my grandfather, my grandfather, we all fought back the Israeli occupation to have Palestine back. We don't want any other maps of Palestine created by whomever. Palestine is Palestine, Egypt is Egypt. The Egyptians can go to Palestine as they are supporting and visiting their brothers in Palestine. And the same Palestinians can come to Egypt,
Yes.
visit them, stay with them, enjoy with them in Egypt, as it is Egypt and they are Palestinians coming from Palestine. But the agenda of those monsters, I don't agree, and no one of the patriots would accept that. And we have to fight back. I'm sorry that my voice is loud, but this is the voice that should and must be clear and loud to the public opinion, and it should be adopted. I would encourage that. It should be adopted, and we should work on that in the future. Why are we saying that? I'm sorry to say that.
No.
Why we are saying that? Because His Excellency did say that. He said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 points in 1982, and I am saying that since 5, 10 years before, and we can see no one hearing us from the ones who has the pen to sign for the rules and for the positions, the political positions that they should stand.
I agree with Mr. Ambassador. Really, I agree with him, really. It is shame and it is sadness that what's happening in our countries right now. Really, they try to impose their pattern upon us, and we accepted that. We are just, audience. We are not taking care about ourselves. Egypt as Egypt, and it is going to still be like that. And we treated our
But we don't exist within this region alone. I mean,
I tell you something.
our borders are
There's a problem. We have a common
Boiling
border,
points.
common borders with Palestine, with Libya. That's a big problem.
With Sudan?
With Sudan, we have, And as I always say, for my students, you have a very important things: heart and atraf, branches. If the heart is going to be weak, what about the branches? It's going to be
Chopped
divided or to be chopped. That's what they are doing right now. They try to undermine the hearts or to weaken the hearts. They try to press hard upon the heart to be destroyed, to let these parts to be far away from the center. That's what they are doing right. Do you know what? Right now, Turkey beginning or to move. They have a plan. They have the dream to regain the Ottoman Empire again. That's what we call it, Al-Osmaniyya al-Jadida, the new Ottomanism. That's what Erdogan tried to do right now. You know, they claim to put their hands upon Mosul, and they also try to move to extend their border to Syria. It means they are going to put their hands upon a lot of Arab lands by declaring or by claiming they have historical rights to do that. So we are facing a big problem.
His Excellency just threw a bomb regarding...
Peaceful bomb. I'm not a warrior.
Regarding the situation in Syria and Libya. We're all aware of what's taking place, yet the joint Arab force, which we were waiting for, I know that some action is being taken, but is this enough in face of the danger that is facing us?
I let the Mr. Ambassador to answer that, and I will comment.
Please. No, we are not. I'm very frank. No, we are not. We are not doing that. Now, as I said before, that there are different agendas in the region. If we are talking about the Arab League and the countries whom are members of this league, try to analyze the strategies of the different countries whom are members of the same league. They are different. Some strategies are in common between the Arab countries, but it's not all. It's different.
But our national or regional security cannot be divided and split.
It's different between some group and the other group. Let's be very frank.
Some people think that, or some countries think they will all be annihilated and they will stay intact. That's a very naive approach.
That was at the beginning of the constructive chaos that we all heard about. Some countries did believe that this
does not relate to them.
They are not related to the situation that they are going to go. But it's happening now, and you can hear that. I just want you to tell me, to inform me that which country of the Arab world you are not hearing a piece of news every day that there is a bomb there or there is a terrorist attack in that country. Can you name a country? I don't think so that you can. No one can do that. So it's running just like that. Now, let's go...
You threw a question and Dr. Muhammad refused to answer.
Yes, and I'm trying to give him some chance to take a decision to answer.
Okay, we want an answer to that question before we wrap
Please.
up.
I try to remember.
I did my best.
Why don't you ask him the question again, maybe?
Which is, do you think that the Arabs are acting in? I will make some changes. Do you think that the Arab countries, which are still having the shape of the Arab League, that they are stick together and they can continue to be united again and to act forward the conspiracies against them?
I don't think so. To a big extent, I don't think so.
No one can agree on that.
I don't think so. You know, I said sometimes I consider what we call it collective defense agreement between the Arab countries. Sometimes it becomes ink on paper. You know, we are just, okay, we have speeches, we have a meeting, and what happened after that? We don't, the same problem which the League of Nations was facing. We don't have the authority
the Arab
move.
League.
The Arab League right now. You know, they moved just only one time or 2-3 times to do something, this collective security pact. But what happened right now? All of us facing a lot of problems, and each Arab countries give its attention to its own security. They are, each one of the Arab countries, as you just mentioned, facing a problem. Egypt facing a problem, Saudi Arabia is the same, Syria.
But we're not only concentrating on our security.
You know, each one has its own problem. So we are not going to give too much attention to the Arab security. And when we are moving, you know, we'll find...
Our problem, a big part of it is Arab security.
If we understand that, if we are moving like that.
Doctor, I believe that we should focus on this part, and especially that we are related at the address of the topic that we are coming here today, which is the Al-Aqsa Mosque and Jerusalem. So what I understood is that the the Arab countries, whatever, either they are the Arab League or the Arab countries, separated Arab countries, they are not understanding. This is the issue of today. They are not still committed to the idea that the major danger is the Israeli occupation to Palestine and to be extended in the region. While in the very beginning of this episode, we analyzed and we gave items that should be understood by the officials and by the common people, that the Israelis are extending and they are practicing that on the ground. Yes. Benjamin Netanyahu is refusing to go for peaceful negotiations with the Palestinians, and he is giving signs every day that he is taking over more lands of the Palestinians, especially in the West Bank, and he is building more settlements in Palestine, especially in the West Bank. Number two, he is extending to the other direction, going towards, and he is demanding for being recognized as he is the authorized, his country is the authorized country to have their authority over the Golan Heights, which is extending the borders of Israel towards the lands which were occupied in 1967 of Palestine, and towards the lands of the Golan Heights of Syria, which was occupied also in 1967. So during this, again, constructive chaos of rise,
the Arab Spring,
the one who is gaining the benefits is Israel. And the king of Israel, which is Benjamin Netanyahu, who is declaring himself that he is a king, and he is for the fourth time ruling Israel, and he is the one who is extending the borders of Israel. Now the challenges, Ms. Dina, if we are allowed to say or to talk about that in this episode. The challenges. Do we believe, your guests and the audience, do we believe that after all of that, that we are telling them that we should give a chance for Benjamin Netanyahu and the fundamentalists, whomever, Jews, Christians, Muslims, anyone.
Fanatics, not fundamentalists.
Fanatics, whatever you want to call them. Are we going to give them the chance to win the war against us, the native citizens of the region who believe in peace, who believe in Muhammad, who believe in Moses, who believe in Jesus, who believe that anyone can deal with any religion that he likes and wants to do? Palestine did receive Muhammad of Islam, of Christianity, and Moses of Judaism. Three of them, and we believe in three of them, and we respect them very much.
So are we going to give them a chance?
And in Quran we say الذي باركنا حوله, which means around it. It's not only Palestine. No, the people of Egypt, the people of Syria, the people of Lebanon, the people of Jordan, the people of every place. This means that all the people, or whatever you like, peoples who are living in this region do believe in living in peace with each other, and to give the human rights that you asked me about 15 minutes before, believe in human rights more than anyone can talk about human rights and export it to us. No, we are the ones who are believing in human rights, democracy, and living in peace, and exporting peace to all over the world. This is what should be. So Benjamin Netanyahu is not going to continue his period of ruling Israel for the 4 years. And again, maybe I said it before in your program, but I'm saying it today, frankly. I don't believe that he would have a chance to continue his 4 years, and I believe that there must be a rational Israeli peaceful leader that can go for that.
So you think the Israelis will not give him a chance?
I think that they are people, and the North must understand the changes which are happening in the region. And I believe that we are people, the Palestinians, the Egyptians, and the Arabs. So we are not accepting that. Benjamin Netanyahu, what did you call him? Fanatic?
I called the fanatics.
The fanatics, these fanatics, I don't believe that we should give them the chance to control our lives. But fanatics are not the Islamists. Fanatics are the Islamists and the Christianists and the Judists.
Okay.
Everyone who is not believing in peace.
I hope he's not going to win.
You think he will win?
I think he will win.
I think we must work to not to win.
You are. That's I don't like to say it is our hope, or I don't like to say it is wishful thinking, because the Israeli community supporting him for 3 times, and they need another Ben Gurion for themselves. He is representing for them as a hero. They don't care about us because no one.
Why should they care about this? They care about their own interests.
That's right. So we are still hoping, the Israeli people can understand they are not going to live in peace unless they have a good relationship with the rest of the Arab countries. But they don't put that in their minds. They are challenging the international community, and no one can say anything. If we look to the United States, they have double standard. What did they do for the Israel?
They gave them F-35.
That's okay.
To approve on the Iranian agreement with the grade 6.
As a deal. As a deal. And they give them a lot of what we can say, an agreement or secret agreement between them, to be sure that not to take any action against the Iranian. And they have a big deal with the Iranian. There is a big deal under the table. There is a covert diplomacy and the overt diplomacy. From my point of view, there is the covert diplomacy working, in this area. Overt diplomacy, that's okay for us. That's what we are saying, or what we are putting our hands upon the overt diplomacy. But the covert diplomacy, there is a big deal. We don't understand what's happening, in the kitchen. They are meeting together and they are approving the Iranian program, and they give assurance to Israel that nothing is going to happen, and they ask the Israeli not to take any action against Iran, and concentrating itself against the Palestinian people, and they are going to extend their border at the expense of the Arab countries. And that's what they are doing right now. They threatened, or it is kind of, shouting, we are going to attack Iran. But the United States ordered them not to take any action because they are going to put them in critical situation. The United States right now facing a Cold War with Russia right now. I don't like to say, I say Soviet Union. No, with Russia right now. And there is a big competition. The United States tried to ask the Israeli to cool off its aggressive attention against Iranian, and concentrating mainly upon its strategic plan to put their hand or to extend its border at the expense of the Arab countries. And that's what they are doing right now.
And why are we standing by and observing?
Because we are...
This is my question.
Your question, I am going to say, go back to the history. In the 1920s, each one of the Arab countries has its own problem right now. They concentrate mainly upon their own security. Look for Libya right now. It's not far from us. They are facing a lot of problems. Look for the Syria, Lebanon. Hezbollah in Lebanon gave Israeli the chance to move. They just, escalate the tension with them, and that's what they need. They need an excuse to take any action against the Arab countries. What about us? We try to protect our border. For Egypt, we try to protect our border, and that's international border. We try to do that, and we respected the international community. But what about the rest? They are smuggling. They have their own tunnels. They have a lot of problems. Who gives them the weapons? Who's supporting them? Who pay for them?
Who's behind them?
Who is behind them? What type of weapons do you have? They have a lot of sophisticated weapons. It is hard for this, if we call them gangs. It is not guerrilla war. We are facing not a guerrilla war. We are facing a regular armies, working and well-trained, and they are well-trained. Yes. And they have a lot of sophisticated armies in their hands. Who is behind that? And we should ask this question to ourselves. Who is behind that?
And brother, referring to all this discussion, how much are we close to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa? The discussion is excluding the Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, Al-Quds, the Jerusalem, and the Israeli occupation. We are talking about something different. So again, while everyone is groaning deep with their internal issues, as you call them, which is, I don't consider that these are internals, because what's happening in every individual country
it's the
is
same
something,
scenario.
and it's something that I care too much. I'm telling you, while everyone is doing that, the Palestinians are still resisting, defending their country, and resisting the Israeli occupation, and they will never stop. Again, as you invited me today to come, today there were very severe actions in Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, in Al-Quds, in Jerusalem, and there were we are very proud with that. Ladies who fought back the Israeli soldiers by their own voices and by their own tied hands, standing steadfast against the Israeli soldiers and not allowing them to crush into Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. Are they practicing terrorism? Are they practicing inhumanity against the Israeli soldiers?
Armed soldiers.
Armed soldiers, very armed soldiers. They are working, no. And again, and again, I'm telling you, my brother, that no, Benjamin Netanyahu is not going to continue his whole agenda. And I believe, very strong believer, that the voices of the people of the Arab world, the voices even of some Israelis who believes in peace, I believe that their voices will go higher, and we will put an end for such theory that Ms. Dina was talking about, and they will not continue. But we shouldn't stop at we are talking. We should practice and practice and practice on the ground. We are doing that.
We need deeds, not words.
And we are doing that. The Palestinians are still doing that. And we have very close, different nationalities, especially Egyptians, who are calling us every day, and they are working by different means to support the right of the Arabs, the right of the humanity of having independence for Palestine and for Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, for Al-Quds, for Jerusalem, and you are one of them. And of course you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Our time is up. I'd like to thank you both for your fruitful input, and the agendas are clear, but personally speaking, I am confident that God will always stand by us in the region, since we're doing things right. We may have been lazy, we may have been a bit corrupt, but definitely
I would like to say something by the end.
We'll win our lands back.
God bless you. God bless all the Arab countries and all Muslims. And I hope that God is going to protect us from what we are facing right now. That's what I would like to say by the
God has protected us. Things could have been much worse. Thank you very much.
Be optimistic, please, both of you and the people. We will meet in Jerusalem. We will pray in Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. We will pray in the Nativity Church, and we will be in Jerusalem, inshallah, all together.
Inshallah.
I'd like to thank you, the viewers, and we'll pray in Al-Aqsa sooner than we think. Good night.